everybody. Welcome to the Dr. Sue and You Show. So happy you could join us again in the new year. I hope everybody had a great New Year's. And today we are going to talk about you and parenting. And we have a great guest with us in studio today. I'm really happy that she's here with us. Her name is Carol Muleta. She is the founder of Parenting 411. And let's welcome her to the show right now. Hi, Carol.
Hi, Dr. Sue.
How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Good. Welcome to the show. I'm really happy that you're here today.
Thank you for having me.
To talk about parenting and how we can be better parents through communication.
Yes.
That is something that is very important in today's world.
Yes, I think it is, and it's really the foundation of the relationship with children.
Agreed. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a mom of two sons. They are 20 years old and they're in their second year of college.
Okay.
And I am a parent educator. Got started really as a curious parent who wanted to know how to really nurture them as individuals.
Okay.
I had heard from a lot of adult twins who talked about how their parents tended to treat them as one unit, and expecting them to like the same things, behave the same way, wear the same clothes for years. And I really didn't want to do that with my sons. So I just thought it was important to get some good solid skills under my belt.
Okay.
And in the course of doing that, the organization where I took the classes asked me to take leadership courses so that I could teach classes with them. And so I did that. Didn't know where it was going to go, but here I am today.
All right. And are your sons both individuals?
Yes,
Okay.
they are very different.
Yes, and that often happens with twins too.
Yes, they are fraternal twins, and I used to joke that they make a career out of being as different as they can be.
Yeah, I mean, even though you're dressing them in the same things when they're little babies or things like that,
Well,
that doesn't mean they're going to have the same brains, ideas, desires, you know, all that stuff.
Absolutely, they have different temperaments, and I saw that very early on, and truth be told, they had different temperaments in the womb. And so once they were born, and you know, they look pretty different. They look like a combination of my husband and me.
Okay.
But I said, well, I want them to know that they are twins and that they do have a special connection. So for that first year, yes, I will dress them alike so that when they look over at this other person and see that he has on the same clothes, that they know there might be something extra special there.
Okay, I like how you said that.
And then after the year, then we dress them differently.
Okay, so in terms of educating parents, what do you teach parents in terms of what are the issues that parents are struggling with the most you see as they go through life?
Okay, well, a lot of times what I see when parents come in is they want to know why their child won't do what they tell them to do, when they tell them to do it, the way they tell them to do it. And so what I like to do is have parents step back and really put themselves in their children's shoes. And so I tell them to go back to when you were younger. Imagine you're in a new neighborhood and you're out exploring the neighborhood and you see a bunch of children playing a game. There's a big crowd of them. You don't know what the game is. And you are looking, and everyone is just intensely involved, engrossed in this game.
Okay.
And then before you know it, the coach turns around, looks at the crowd, and says, "We need a sub, and it's you." And the coach is pointing to you.
Yes.
And you don't know this game. You don't know the rules of the game. And very much, this is what our children are facing. They haven't been here as long as we have.
Good point.
So they gradually learn how the world works, and they learn how it works in the family, in their school. That's usually their first community outside of the family.
Okay.
And then in society. And so we have to give them that time, and we are the coach. And as the coach, it is our job to connect with our children, to really get to know them, get to know who they are, what's in their heart, and what's in their minds. I always say you ought to understand their heart, their head, and their hands.
Yes.
And then teach them how to play this game of life. Give them the life skills. Also explore with them what are their interests, what are their talents, what are their gifts. And how will they help them to play in this game of life?
I love that. I love that analogy. It's very on point.
Yes.
I believe that. I also believe what is also important, and I'm wondering if you do too, that children within their family should have a voice.
Absolutely.
As well. That it's not just the parent telling the child what you have to do. A lot of times that leads to a lot of resentment.
Yes, and that's why I talk about how important it is to connect outside of do this, do that, we've got to get out of the house and whatever. But really, some time, we talk about special time, to get to know them every day, and just a few minutes a day, an investment in them really goes a long way. And so letting them know who you are and the way that you think about things, and spending that time with them, then that gives you a lot of goodwill for when you have to explain the rules to them or have them do certain things. They understand that you're connected to them, you love them, and it's not about you just bossing them around.
Right, because as we know as educators, bossing anybody around just causes conflict. So think about this. If you're being bossed around and not talked to nicely at work, are you going to respect that person?
Right.
Probably not.
Right.
And if you're being bossed around by your parent all the time in very strict ways, are you going to respect them? Now, there was many years ago, right? Ideas that children should always be respectful of what their parents say. What do you think about that?
Well, here's the thing. I think that children should be given a voice and given an opportunity to respectfully question, respectfully state their opinions. Like the dinner table is a great forum to do that. I firmly believe families should share meals together as much as they can. And I know that that's increasingly difficult to do in our society, where everybody's hard charging and trying to succeed and live their best life and all this other jazz. But it's important to spend that time so that they learn how to advocate for themselves. And if you give them that opportunity at home to try those skills out, they'll be able to do it out in the world. And they'll also, very importantly, understand what respect looks like, so that when they go out in the world and they encounter someone, and it may even be an adult that might not have the best intentions for them.
That's right.
They recognize, okay, something feels off here, and find a way to get out of the, go somewhere and get help. And just get out of the scene there.
And I love what you said about challenging their thinking and allowing them to have a voice. At our dinner table, I always ask my kids, what do you think about this? That is a simple question, but allows them the opportunity to voice what they think. And if we disagree on something, it still means that we can talk it out, that you can disagree with somebody and still have a connection. That is a life lesson.
Yes, and a lot of parents don't understand why their children don't agree with what they want them to do. And I said, listen, you have about 30 years on them. And so if you and your child agree on everything, somebody's not acting their age, and it's you. You are a leader.
That's a bold statement, Carol.
That's what I tell people. That's what I tell.
That's great stuff.
That's what I tell them, and
I call it get your adult on.
Well, there you go.
It's the same thing,
There you go. There's a wealth of experience that you've acquired in living life, so use that to pour into them and guide them so that they will be thinking children when they leave. You know, it can't just be, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do the other. It's giving them boundaries within which they can operate. So that when they go out, they're thinking. You know, because that's another thing. If you don't allow them to make decisions at home and ask those questions, then when they get out there, they're just not sure. And so then they can fall under the spell of more aggressive friends on the playground that will tell them what to do. And then how about when they hit the teen years and start having romantic interest or whatever, then they don't have a good sense of control for themselves.
So, we're on the same page. I believe parents are children's best role models. This is where they learn to communicate, interact, and we are products of our environment.
Yes, and I think it has to really be an environment. I read an excellent book when when my children were very young, and it talked about what I've taken away as 3 pillars: affection, protection, and correction. And I look at it as a 3-legged stool.
Let's go through each one.
Sure,
Okay,
absolutely.
well, we're starting with affection.
Sure. Affection, that is obviously the love and the connection that you have, and just genuine interest in your child as a person, not as just this little person that you can boss around.
And it's not just about holding them, right?
It is not just about holding them. It's a way, there certainly should be that.
Yes.
But it's also the way you communicate with them and you show respect to them. So that's one thing. And then protection, and that really has to do with the boundaries that I talked about.
Yes.
And your children have to believe that you're looking out for them. You're going to keep them physically safe, emotionally safe, and all of that. And then there's the correction. Because obviously, I told you, they just got here. So they're going to make mistakes.
Yes.
So we have to take those steps to make sure that we correct them. And so what I see sometimes with parents who come into workshops, they are real heavy on one or the other of these.
Okay.
Like they're real firm on the correction.
Yes.
But they don't really show the love. They also don't give their children boundaries within which to operate. So that doesn't work.
What do you mean a boundary to operate in for people that are watching this right now? Give me an example of that.
Sure. So it's all about limit setting. For example, so if your children like to play ball and really roughhouse and all of that,
Okay.
Parents would just be tempted to say, "Don't do that." And so you haven't really given them news they can use, is what I call it.
I love your sayings. It's
give
great.
give them a little more.
Yeah.
So is it really bad to play ball? Is it really bad to wrestle? It might not be good to do it in your living room or in your dining room where your fine china is.
Right.
But can they do it in the family room? Can they go out in the backyard? So let them know. If you're going to wrestle or you want to play with the ball, go out in the backyard. That's more information for them. So now they know, okay, playing ball isn't bad. Wrestling isn't bad.
Right.
We just shouldn't do it in here.
Exactly. Great example. Because if you don't give an explanation and you just say, stop it,
Right.
they don't know what they have to stop.
Exactly. And that's really what took me into parenting classes, because I found myself, especially, I joked that my sons decided to start walking and I had to chase them down.
Yes.
But I found myself saying, no. But I was never telling them what they could do. I wasn't really redirecting them. I was just trying to stop, make sure nothing bad happened.
Right, so the takeaway from this right now, because we're going to go to our first break, is tell them more about what they're doing right
Yes.
than they're doing wrong.
And tell them more about what they can do and not just what they cannot do.
I love it. Okay, everybody, we will be back in just a minute with Carol Muleta. She is the founder of Parenting 411. We'll be back in just a moment.
The family law firm of Shemtab Dragonovsky Taylor will help you move through and beyond your divorce. We are a full-service boutique family law firm located in Blue Bell, Pennsylvania. We handle cases in Montgomery County, Chester, Bucks, Delaware, and Philadelphia counties. We have 6 highly experienced lawyers and have represented clients for more than 30 years regarding these issues. Our clients depend on us to sort through the complicated issues involved in divorce and division of assets, spousal and child support, and custody. We listen to them, we gather the information, and we help them make informed decisions. We pride ourselves in our knowledge and our experience. We try to settle cases when we can, but we zealously advocate for our clients at trial as experienced and successful litigators. If you need help on any of these family life issues, please call us for an appointment at 215-542-2105 or check us out on our website at www.shemtablaw.com.
Getting divorced and need help figuring out your options for refinancing the marital home or purchasing a new home after a divorce? You need a divorce lending professional. There is only one place and one person to turn to for help: Jody Bruns. founder and president of the Divorce Lending Association. Jody is a certified divorce lending professional with over 20 years of experience and has been assisting divorcing couples to identify their goals and has successfully obtained mortgage financing when divorce is present. She understands your needs when it comes to various income sources, such as employment, spousal support, and child support, as well as how to work with the liability of paying the various types of marital debt, and so much more. If you are divorcing and need a mortgage, there is no one else to turn to except Jody Bruns. She helps clients nationwide. Contact her directly today at 720-692-7241 or by email at jody@jodybruns.com. NMLS ID 831033. Getting divorced.
Hey everybody, it's good to be back in the studio. Today we're going to be talking about child care. And joining me will be someone who knows a lot about it and how to make it work. We're going to have Susan Tatsui Darcy join me again today. Remember, she was here earlier in the month to talk about beating the college game. She's here with another bold idea that she describes in this book, The Millennial's Guide to Free Childcare in Your Home. I know that's going to be intriguing for a lot of our working moms out there because we know that childcare costs take a big chunk out of the budget when you have young children. So I hope you're going to tune in. I think you're going to really get some great ideas.
America, there are roughly 5,300 colleges in this country. I believe every child should be taught and treated as if they have aspirations to go and given room to earn it if they want to. I want that for your child, every child. My name is Carol Milletta, and I hope you were listening.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Dr. Sue and You. Having a great show today. I'm joined by parenting expert Carol Milletta, and we are talking about you and your kids and communication. I don't know anything more important than that. That's what I believe in life. And Carol, welcome back.
Thank you.
We just saw up in the commercials there that you have your own radio show.
Yes, it's called Parenting 411.
Okay.
And I just like to share information with parents that they need. In fact, it's information parents need from sources they can trust. And what that's all about is that they're benefiting from the years of training that I took in to become a parent educator, all the books that I read, not only for the benefit of my own family, but also to complement what I was teaching in classes and workshops. So that's the information, that's what they're getting, and it's my passion to share it with them. So that particular clip that we just saw was from a show that I did with the California Mother of the Year for 2019. I met her recently at the American Mothers Incorporated National Convention, where I was actually the 2019 DC Mother of the Year. And so she had written an excellent book on how to establish free childcare in your own home.
That's great.
So that was a pretty popular
show. So all
show.
these Mothers of the Year, that's a wonderful honor. Congratulations to you on that.
Thank you.
How are you recognized as Mother of the Year?
Well, someone in the community nominated me.
Okay.
And so they submitted that information to American Mothers Incorporated, and then they reached out to me and wanted to know a little bit more. And so I submitted a portfolio.
Okay.
And what they're really interested in is mothers who are very actively involved with their own children.
Yes.
And maybe have overcome challenges. But then they also take the time to serve their community and help other organizations that support mothers and children.
That's great.
And so that's something that I do. I've been on the board of directors for my children's school. I am in a national mothers organization, and as well as a national sorority.
You are every mother.
Oh.
You remember that song, I'm Every Woman?
Yes.
You're every mom.
Okay.
All right, I'm giving you that honor today.
Thank you.
Okay, you also speak around the country?
Yes.
Okay, tell me a little bit about that and what you talk about.
Sure. So I've had an opportunity to speak at a lot of different conferences and schools and churches. And so a lot of times I'm talking about discipline. That's a hot button issue.
Yes.
Parents want to figure out how to get their children to do what they want, when they want, how they want, and the way they want. So that's always a hot topic. But also communication, that's something that I've talked about
Yes.
lately. And I've also talked about parenting in the digital age and just how to manage that, because parents really feel
Let's
out
talk
of their
about
depth.
that for a little, because that's
Sure.
a hot topic every day.
Sure.
Not just in parenting, but in life in general.
Right, right.
You know, even between husbands and wives, can you put your phone down at night?
Yes.
Can I have your full attention?
Absolutely.
But in parenting with children, a lot of parents are concerned that they're spending way too much time on these devices and not enough time interacting verbally.
Yes, yes, that absolutely is a problem.
Okay.
And even I'll get to their the impact on their verbal communication skills in a moment. But even stepping back, it's effects on their vision, effects on their posture, all of that.
Yes.
And then they
Because we're always like this.
hunched over, right?
Yeah.
And then also on their communication skills, their written communication skills, because now they're using this shorthand that they're accustomed to using in social media. But then, of course, the big thing is the fact that relationships suffer. Relationships in the family suffer, and certainly with their friends, like they're not going outside.
It's a great point. Let's just backtrack a second there. I want to pick up on something that you said.
Sure.
It affects their relationships with their family
Yes.
and their parents and their siblings. How so?
Well, because they want to look at their phone while they're eating dinner.
There you go.
Or the parents might say, remember how, I don't know, when you were growing up, didn't you all play some games once in a while? Maybe a board game?
Course.
Or do things together as a family. Now they're not as interested because they want to see how many likes their posts have gotten. They want to also see what their friends are doing. Who's getting together.
This Snapchat, this TikTok, whatever they're doing.
Yes.
I know because I have
Yes.
a 12-year-old.
Right. So they're concerned about that,
Yeah.
and relationships suffer.
They do.
And so parents really are throwing their hands up. But I'm saying, wait a minute. It's really just another playground for them. Don't you dictate how long they can stay over at their friend's house. Don't you have something to say about how much time they spend outside? Well, then you have something to say about how long they spend on these devices.
Putting up the boundaries.
Putting up the boundaries, and it's really, and if you do that, they will also learn how to do it for themselves. And a big part of being able to teach them about boundaries is exercising them yourselves as mom and dad, which is what you talked about. We have to be good role models. But this is also something that you can talk with them about and set some boundaries, and it pays to even put it in writing sometimes so that they understand that after homework is done, then you can spend 2 hours on it or something like that. Because I'm not for eliminating it altogether, because there's certainly a lot of benefits about electronic communication.
Yes, there is.
And even their connections with their friends, that is important.
Yes.
So you want them to you don't want them to be cut off.
I like what you said there, because some other people would say, cut them off, or don't let them use it at all. I don't like that. I feel it has to be balanced. But if you're going out to dinner and you're all at a restaurant, which we do, we say we're not using our devices at all during dinner. And then they say, even mom? And
oh, wow, okay.
And I say, yes, even mom. Well, because my whole life is really on my phone, my business. I know I'm just making excuses right now for myself. I could just put it down. But that has become a rule in our family.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And it really comes from the top down. If parents can exercise, if they can exercise some moderation, then the children, when they see that in action, they can learn how to do it. Because what I really want children to understand is that technology is a tool. Don't let it become a tyrant.
Yes, you're right.
You leverage technology. Don't let technology rule you.
That's right. It is a tool, but it can become obsessive.
Right.
And as you said, I mean, if they're on their phones all the time, it does take away from them talking to you.
Yes.
And using their verbal words
Yes.
to
Yes.
do that. So that's something I think is important to point out as well.
And that's also even with their friends. I mean, the art of
Yep.
conversation and, asking questions and all of that, and instead of this, shorthand, what are you doing?
And also text messaging can be misinterpreted sometimes.
Absolutely.
So I always say with my friends, if I'm in a texting conversation, I say, this is a conversation for the phone.
Right.
Right?
Right, because
Something
there's
like
so
that.
much more that you get. They're the nonverbal cues. There's the tone of
Right, like
voice and
looking at
facial
people's
expressions
faces.
and all of that. And that's really where the bulk of the message is.
In-
Our words account
in
for very
the
little.
expressions, in the body language.
Yes.
I agree. All right, so tell us some things that you're doing now.
Oh, all right. Well, I am preparing to launch a podcast, which the working title is still The Parenting 411.
Okay.
And I will tackle some of the same topics that I do on my show, but at the same time, the podcast frees me up to be able to interview people remotely and nationally that sometimes just can't come to Baltimore to
That's
talk
right.
with me in person. And I am also working on my first book that
Great.
I will have published in time for Mother's Day.
Okay.
And the title of it is Mother's Work, Pearls of Wisdom and Gems for My Journey.
That's wonderful.
So I'll really be talking about a lot of lessons learned as a mother, and the experiences that really have inspired me, and that I think that others would benefit from hearing.
Well, Kara, I am impressed by you. You are doing
you.
tremendous work in
Thank you.
the area of parenting, which I can't think of anything that is more important than that.
Yes, I agree with you.
To raise our kids in this world today.
Right, it's an investment. When I first
Yes, it
started, I
is.
said, look, I invested in higher education,
Yep.
and because I wanted to be the best that I could be in my career. So I want to try to be the best parent that I can be for them. I'm not striving to be the perfect parent
Right.
because
There is
I
nothing.
can't accomplish that, but I certainly want to be the best that I can be.
Well, apparently you're doing a pretty good job so far. All right, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for having
It was
me.
such a pleasure. Can you look over there, please, and tell people how they can get in touch with you?
Oh, please visit my website, theparenting411.com. And also follow me on social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. It's all The Parenting 411.
Wonderful. Thanks, everybody, for joining us for another great episode of Dr. Sue and You. I know you're getting a tremendous amount of information from all these wonderful experts that come on the show. Today's show was very special. It's special to me because I'm a parent myself. I picked up a few pointers from you, by the way. I'll try them out later tonight, okay?
Okay.
Parenting is one of the most rewarding experiences of life, and if you can do it to the best of your ability and be your child's best role models, you will see how your children can develop into very productive human beings. That doesn't mean we don't make mistakes. I do too every day, but that's part of being a parent. Teachable moments, everybody. That's what's important in life. Thanks for joining us today, and I'll see you back here for another episode next Wednesday on Dr. Sue and You. Bye-bye.